It's the year 2216. What would the earth be like? Will it be mostly water? Will the land that's left be barren? Will there be any wildlife or human life? Or will it just be cockroaches and ants? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, this is the grim reality because it's the direction we're headed. Our Earth is warming. And it's accelerated since the industrial age. That kind of points a finger at us. Global warming is about the greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases occur in nature. And it forms a nice blanket around the Earth. It keeps us warm. Without the greenhouse gases, our Earth would be frigid. And life as we know it would not exist. Since the industrial age, that blanket has thickened, causing our temperatures to rise. So you say, what's a few degrees? This past summer, we lost lives here in Arizona because of the heat. Is this just the start? Arizona's temperatures are rising faster than any other state in the country. A few degrees, you say. It's affecting our weather. Hurricanes, like Matthew, tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, are all becoming more frequent and more powerful. And what about the droughts and the flash floods? Flash floods usually occur from a bad storm. The water will come rushing into a town, devastating the community, sometimes taking lives, often leaving people homeless. And then the sewers back up, causing an outbreak of dysentery and cholera, usually affecting our children. Now there's a grim reality, losing your home and watching your kids suffer with this ailment. A few degrees can make a difference in whether a certain area goes through a frost. If there's no frost, the bugs, the bacteria, the viruses, the mold, they don't die off. They thrive. The mosquitoes don't have to wait till the spring to hatch. They're multiplying all year long. And what do? We spray them with pesticides, killing off all good bugs too, as well as our bees. And then there's these diseases, Zika, Ebola. And I don't even want to swim in the pond I used to as a kid, because there's something called that flesh-eating virus. 70% of the earth is water. Only 2.5% of that is fresh water. And how much of that is clean? Pollution's another speech. There's a scientist named Dr. Katie Walters, and she happened to notice that the Siberian lakes were expanding in size. Come to find out, it was the permafrost, and it's thawing. That's what holds the lake together. And methane's perking up from the soil. Methane happens to be a greenhouse gas. It's not as, you don't see it as much in the atmosphere, but it's like 84 times more powerful. And that's what's happening to our oceans as well. Our oceans are turning acidic. And it's killing off, destroying the coral reefs and killing off the fish. A few degrees is making a difference in the Arctic and Antarctic. Glaciers are melting, ice is melting. Wildlife that used to thrive there is now struggling to survive, and it's our fault. And it's not just the water. Our land is going barren. And it's not just the desert and arid areas. Dr. Alan Savoy of South Africa, who's a scientist, has noted that over 2/3 of our land is now barren. He calls it desertification. He said, One of the causes is the way we herd our livestock. We bring them into an area, they graze until it's depleted, and leave the land barren. It's so barren that when it rains, the land doesn't penetrate, it evaporates out. And because the soil is exposed, carbon escapes from the ground. A few years ago, I read in an almanac. It was from the year, I think, 1908. There was a big concern. There was too much horse manure in the streets. It was causing a horrendous stench. And you couldn't walk across the street without getting your feet dirty. Then along came the automobile. Saved the day. We can do that too. It's in our power to make these changes. Dr. Alan Savoy also found a solution to the barren lands. He noted that in nature, the animals that herd naturally are avoiding their predators. They come into an area, trample the grass, graze like they want, leave their urine and dung, and move on. Now when it rains, the water is now trapped in the grass, and the carbons are held in the ground. He has changed desertification areas into thriving areas. We are turning to alternative fuels, a good move. And it's also talk that we can harness the methane gas in the oceans. We don't have to colonize Mars. We need to make this a priority. We need to hold our leaders accountable. And then we can visualize 2216 and leaving it to our generations the way we want. Mr. Toastmaster.
That was enchanting. 90 seconds for evaluations.